With the Venture Brothers, the recent news of the Venture Brothers cancellation, and because I review pilots sometimes, I thought it'd be fun. I forget exactly who now, and I apologize. On my Discord suggested maybe I should review the pilot of the Venture Brothers. I think it was Austin, and it was Austin. So thank you, Austin, for suggesting that. Because the Venture Brothers has been canceled, I thought it'd be cool to look back at the pilot of Venture Brothers, which is actually on Hulu, at least in America. Other places, then I don't know. You'll have to figure that out. But I wanted to look back at the pilot because the pilot's sort of different. It shows you how the show really evolved. It's sort of rough, and particularly the animation style, which is not sort of what you expect from Venture Brothers now. I think that's because they switched production companies. They went through 3 of them, Noodle Soup, World Leaders Entertainment, and then Titmouse more recently. But basically, it's about the Venture Brothers and Thaddeus Venture and Brock all travel to the United Nations to show off this Ure thing, and a ninja is trying to acquire the device from Dr. Venture, and the Monarch is trying to stop them as well. The Monarch is sort of not involved as much. He's sort of just there and laughable. One thing I find, and Brock basically is just there to beat stuff up. I really think a lot of the characters aren't as fully fleshed out in this. You sort of get like loose interpretations of them. Brock is basically just there to beat stuff up. I think he beats up one guy, and then he beats up an alligator, and then he beats up a guy who stole Hank and Dean's watch. Like, he mainly beats people up. Like, it's just like no like characterization to him at all. I felt like Dr. Venture was maybe the most fleshed out of all of them, although you get more nuance to him. But Hank and Dean are very much just like, they're on a Hanna-Barbera show in this weird Venture Brothers universe. Obviously, they're more little kids in this one, but you see them kind of get older after this. But it's funny to see where the show starts out. It seems to be more Johnny Quest-y kind of animation, like a little more simple, kind of the 60s, which fit the kind of Adult Swim vibe at the time, but then they eventually got more fluid animation. I think when they switched to World Leaders Entertainment, I'm not saying it because I knew them then. I think it's because they just I think it's true. I think the animation moves more fluidly after this first season, but I do appreciate I sort of like what they're going for, but I don't think the show could have gone to be what it was with this kind of animation in it. But it is kind of like a fun, silly kind of trip to New York. It's like a simple kind of like Johnny Quest sort of plot. He's going to show off in his invention, and the Venture Brothers will get into some mischief, and then their bodyguard Brock, who's basically it's all the Johnny Quest stuff. It's very much relying on the Johnny Quest thing, and they sort of bounce off of that. You get hints of other characters in this who would later become important and stuff, like Dr. Girlfriend's barely in this and certain things like that. But it sort of very much gets you into the concept. It's sort of hard to watch these pilots, like when I reviewed the Adventure Time pilot. It's hard to watch these things and not have what you think of it now. I remember watching it at the time and thinking it was kind of cool. I didn't fall in love with it as much until like season 2. I liked season 1. I wasn't as into season 2. And I don't know if I like it's The Terrible Secret of Turtle Bay. I'm sorry. That's sort of a weird title because it's like, why is it called that? Is there a reason? The Mummy was the other. That's right. When Brock beats up the Mummy and then he pees on it, that is like, all of the Brock fighting things are like vicious and horrible and just like really extreme, which is like sort of funny. But it was funnier when I watched it the first time. Now I'm just like, wow, Brock was so different. Like, I'm so used to the Brock I know now versus the one then. I know Jackson Public pushed this to Comedy Central originally and didn't know about Adult Swim, and then pushed it to Adult Swim. He had previously written for the Tick cartoon, which is really underrated and really great, and the first Tick live action thing where he met Patrick Warburton, and then figured out Venture Brothers. And I think I like that Tick sensibility you can kind of sense on Venture Brothers if you didn't know, but I like how this plays in the kind of Hanna-Barbera world, but I like this show more when it kind of breaks out from that and kind of gets into their own thing. I think the show gets a lot better when it sort of matures. It's kind of like a good starting off point. I feel like that about The Terrible Secret of Turtle Bay, this pilot, kind of just sets you up really well. I don't know if that ages as well for younger viewers, because I don't know if you grew up with older Johnny Quest reruns, so maybe that doesn't play as well as it does for me, because to me, I get the reference. I don't know if you haven't watched that, maybe you don't get the reference. It is still funny without that, but I don't know if it's as funny. But I think it gets you into and makes you think like, oh, this is a cool show, but you kind of like, it does have a lot going on for a pilot. You can tell they had like ambitions beyond that. And Jackson Pollock has even talked about how when he was developing the show that was supposed to be a simple, like, it was originally just going to be a small comic, he had too many ideas, and you can see that, but they're all so much fun that you kind of go with it. Like, I've reviewed pilots that have too much going on, and it just annoys me. And in this, like, I want, even though I knew there would be more, I wanted to see more. Like, I did watch the episode after this, and it makes me want to watch more Venture Brothers. And I think, like, if anything, if a pilot makes me want to watch more and makes me want even like, I was thinking about, like, how this all continues on, I think that's what's so great about this pilot. So it's a good way to start off. And it's so, like, violent and extreme and weird that even the thing with the villain is bizarre, and it does play on a lot of tropes. But I think even without that, it works really well. You know, it's kind of funny to forget how much of a Johnny Quest sort of parody satire this was originally, but I like how it, like, you can tell he wanted it to be so much more, but this just kind of sets you up and sets you into this world that you can go far more deeper into it. It's almost like the beginning of the animation was simple because it was sort of like the concept was just that it's bare bones, even though there's a lot going on. And then as the animation loosened up, it like expanded even more and more into this world. And this is just before any of that kind of blossomed into what it was. Anyway,